The following podcast is provided by an approved senior care provider on the Answers for Elders radio network.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders radio network. And I am here again with Elena Cuevas, who is the Vice President of the Western Region of MorningStar Senior Living. And Elena and I are right now sitting in this beautiful community in Silver Lake, Washington by Everett. And certainly in the backyard of Payne Field, of Boeing.
Yeah.
And a lot of residents used to be there.
Right.
And so they're probably like running into old friends and
all the
people
time.
they know all the
Yeah.
time, because this is kind of the stalwart place of the Boeing crowd, and one of the definitely long term communities that have been here. MorningStar, again, just to recap with our listeners, purchased this property on a year ago,
Just a year ago, yeah.
and so it's been undergoing this incredible remodeling, and I'm telling you, where we are right now is amazing, and it's no wonder, because the second foundational principle is what?
Environmental.
Well, there you go.
Environmental,
girlfriend.
yeah. Talk about a good segue. So when we look at environmental and what that wellness means to an individual is, you kind of mentioned it earlier, the beauty of it. Feeling comfortable in your environment. It's that, that je ne sais quoi of a feeling. So you walk in and you just know it just hits you. This feels good. It looks good. It's an environmental shift in your spirit.
Yeah.
And so what does that look like? Right. So you mentioned earlier, we're sitting in one of our 2-bedroom apartment homes. It's currently modeled up to look like someone's home. So you have a beautiful couch, have artwork, you have comfortable throws. And so we always tell our residents, don't sell anything, bring your own things.
Amen to that.
Because
I'm amazed at how large this unit is.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, you've got pretty much a full-size couch to my right. We have 2 wingback chairs that are plenty ample.
Yeah.
We've got a whole wall, and we've got a dining area here, and
Coffee
nice
table.
kitchen that's got a full-size refrigerator. You could easily live here. Walk-in closets in both the bedrooms,
Right.
which is incredible. 2 full bathrooms, not just tiny ones,
Right.
With a wonderful, accessible, things like grab bars and all
Right.
those things, which are so important.
Right.
So,
So we look at the environment as an extension of your home. So while most folks are afraid of leaving the comforts of the home,
right.
we tell them, bring your comforts with you.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're downsizing.
Mhm.
And so with that downsize, what that looks like is you bring your essentials, the things that are really, truly important to you, that you truly need.
Your favorite chair,
your favorite art, your TV, your artwork, the things, when I look at my home and what's important to me, I'm not going to take everything, because I'm not using everything in my home, but I'm going to take the things that are important to my environment, that make my environment feel like home. And we always tell folks that one of the things that MorningStar does extremely well is create beautiful environments that our residents can enjoy, that mirror what home is. So for instance, my own home, right? I only use maybe 3 of my 4 bedrooms that I have. And so when I bring home with me, I'm always afraid of, I'm downscaling my space.
Mm-hmm.
What most people forget is, while you have 900 to 1,000 square feet of room, we're at 1,000 square feet of room right where we're sitting at right now. That's just a piece of your home. You now have a movie theater, gorgeous movie theater with reclining chairs, popcorn machine. You have a full dining room with an executive chef with full service. That you don't have that at home.
You don't have to cook.
You don't have to cook. Which the best meal I ever had was when I didn't have to make.
Yeah.
So these are the things that are
private dining room. If you
private
have
dining
friends
room
over for a dinner party, you can do that.
So those are the environmental opportunities that our residents get to enjoy on a daily basis that expand from what they currently have at home. Gardens. We mentioned Emma's garden. So Emma is actually our CEO's mother, Emma Yeager. So we created Emma's garden as a as a tribute to Mr. Yeager's mother,
Oh,
who raised, I want to say 12 children on a farm with her husband. Just an incredible story.
yeah.
That being said, we have Emma's garden, and we
Mhm.
have master gardeners that keep up with that garden,
That's
from tulips
incredible.
to rose gardens. You name it, we have every single kind of flower growing downstairs. It's beautiful, but it's an investment in the
Yeah.
environment that our residents get to have pride in. And you
Well, and it
mentioned, yeah,
also, like, I've told you the story about seeing something grow.
right,
It's like,
right,
it makes you look forward to the future.
right,
And that's the exciting thing. It's
right.
like, I have roses, which all my
Yeah.
listeners know. But when I prune them, I just got done pruning all of them, which was a huge task
yeah.
because I have over 50.
Wow. Yeah.
So, but I'm out there pruning like crazy. But every day I go out and I see all these basal breaks, you
Yeah.
know, these little canes that are going to start
Wow.
emerging out. And it just warms my heart because I think this is the beauty that's
Right.
yet to come.
Right.
It's that environmental wellness that you're
Right.
talking about. It's all of these things around you affirm what life's about.
Right.
You know, it's the comfort factor that I know that I'm home, that I'm loved, that I have that, the things that I love around me.
Absolutely. The environment is so important to our emotional satisfaction as well. Just to give you an example, I was here on Saturday at Silver Lake of Everett, and while I'm staying here, I was with Gene, one of our residents, and he helps man some of the gardens here at the community. And we're just sitting outside, listening to the birds, watching the hummingbirds on the feeders, some of the squirrels that run by, and he's telling me about all the gardens that he used to do in his life, and growing tomatoes, harvesting the tomatoes, donating the tomatoes back to shelters, and making sauces. It's just such an incredible way to give back to our community as well.
Yeah.
And we're so close. We, again, another example, this Sunday, we took a trip down to Silver Lake. And so a group of our residents were down by the lake, partaking in the fishing that was
Yeah.
going on, and walking around and just having a great time. Again, just because we're a community within a community.
Right.
So exploring what's out there
Yeah.
and what's in
Taking
our
a drive up to see the tulips.
Oh my,
or-
they just did that 2 weeks ago. And it's
Yeah.
I wish I had gone with them because it looked gorgeous, the pictures that
That's
came
my
back.
hometown, That's
Oh,
where I grew up there.
yeah. It really is gorgeous. But
Isn't it amazing?
yeah. And then
Yeah.
even for me, we were just talking about the hike I just took
Yes.
down in Seattle, down
Discovery
Discovery
Park.
Park. Just to allow our residents the opportunity, if they are no longer able to drive, to be able to take those adventures so that the environment doesn't change.
Yeah.
Right. The things that they're used to having
Absolutely.
doesn't change.
Well, and I've also seen where, in communities, and I'm sure you guys do it here too, finding ways to validate that senior that
Right.
lives here to allow them their own statement.
Right.
Whether it's, I remember a story from another senior living community that their kids told, and this is one of the reasons why it's really important to tell people when dad moves
Right.
in, my dad's favorite food do you have a Monte Cristo sandwich?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're going like,
Yeah.
well, we can make,
Right.
sure. So they do now
Right.
about, I think they did once a month. They had, his name was Paul, I
Oh.
think, Paul's Monte Cristo Day.
I love that.
And so once a month,
Yeah.
that was the main special, and they named it for him. And they had this big deal of Monte Cristo sandwiches, which was so cool.
Yeah.
I thought, what a great thing. But again, that's supporting
Right.
that environment of things that are familiar.
Absolutely. And so I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that's the environmental wellness that is so important for our residents to continue to have. While there is a loss, if someone's moving into a community, there is a loss of again, we talked about the losses that they have to cope through with emotional wellness.
Yeah.
Being able to maintain a lot of that environmental
Mhm.
satisfaction is so critical.
Yeah.
And so we try to do that every single day from the comforts of their own apartment home. That's exactly what it
And
is.
it's supporting the foundational one
Right.
of the emotional wellness, because
Right.
now all of a sudden you're saying, you talk
Right.
about the trauma that they may
Right.
have been through, but to basically say, what can we do for Phyllis today?
Correct.
I know this is a hard day for
Right.
her. How can we, do something? Maybe what we do is we bring her a bouquet of flowers,
Right.
or we bring her
Right.
on a little field trip, or
Right.
something like that. to give her a sense of acknowledgement in her environment, or, things like that.
So you hit it right on the nose. So Suzanne, one of the things that we do, we talked about how when we sit with a family member and our seniors, when we first get introduced to each other,
Mhm.
we ask a number of different questions, and it's really to try to understand and get to know each other. The more we know, the more we can help and be of
Yeah.
service, and design a plan specific to our seniors and our residents and family members. We have a lot of folks coming from California, for instance. And so when someone is having a bad day, it's bringing something that's relative to
Yeah.
their home that
Mhm.
inspires that home.
Yeah.
So we had someone who just loved Huntington Beach. So we brought back calendars of
Oh.
Huntington Beach so that they can enjoy
Oh,
what they love, the home that
perfect.
they love in
Yeah.
California, right?
Yeah.
So we have another one from Boston. So clam chowder, making sure that they have their
I
clam
love
chowder.
it.
And so that's the environment again we try to
Yeah.
create, but it's important and critical for us to get to know our residents and family
Yeah.
members as deep rooted as possible,
Mhm.
so that it's called to get to know me is to love me.
I love that.
So to know me is to love me it's exactly that. So we can love our residents
Yeah.
and our families a lot better.
That is so important. I remember my mom,
Yeah.
she had a huge doll collection.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
senior living community that she moved in to, right along they built like, instead
The
of
shelves.
a plate shelf,
Yeah.
they did a shelf all the way around her
Yeah.
living room where she could display her
Right.
dolls. Well, then they took it one step further because they knew this was so important.
Yeah.
And so they asked if they could select a bunch of them, I think
Yeah.
20 of them, and they put them in a case for a month to
Yeah.
feature her. So that was so cool that she had
Yeah.
a way to be integrated into
Yeah.
the community. Again, that's environmental wellness. It's
And that's what we
bringing
do.
things around that you do. So I
Every
think that
day.
is so awesome. And we are going to come up on our final segment for today. And what's the next principle we're going to talk about?
So we're going to talk about safety.
Safety next.
Yeah.
And what does that mean with safety? How do we keep everyone safe? This is a huge topic.
Absolutely.
And Elena and we're going to be right back, won't we?
Absolutely, we will.
We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.